Black Saturday, the day that would seem like the longest day of the entire week. In one day, Jesus is going to shock the world. The Gospel of John gives us the most details about what happened and the thoughts that his followers would have had as they were in shock and disbelief in what they had witnessed just hours before. Later, Joseph of Arimathea asked Pilate for the body of Jesus. Now, Joseph was a disciple of Jesus, but secretly, because he feared the Jewish leaders. With Pilate's permission, he came and took the body away. He was accompanied by Nicodemus, the man who earlier had visited Jesus at night. At the place where Jesus was crucified, there was a garden, and in the garden, a new tomb in which no one had ever been laid. Because it was the Jewish day of preparation, and since the tomb was nearby, they laid Jesus there. Black Saturday is the day between the crucifixion of Jesus and his resurrection. As Saturday is the Sabbath day for Jews, the gospel accounts all note that Jesus was hurriedly buried in a borrowed tomb after his crucifixion, with the intent to finish proper embalming and burial ceremonies on Sunday morning, after the Sabbath had ended, as the Sabbath day prohibitions would have prevented observant Jews from completing a proper burial. Jesus' body lay in its tomb, where it was guarded by Roman soldiers throughout the day on Saturday, which was the Sabbath. When the Sabbath ended at 6 p.m. on Saturday, Jesus' body was ceremonially treated for burial with spices purchased by Nicodemus. John records this in his gospel. He brought about 75 pounds of perfumed ointment made from myrrh and aloes. Following Jewish burial customs that wrapped Jesus' body with the spices in long sheets of linen cloth. Nicodemus, like Joseph of Arimathea, was a member of the Sanhedrin, the court that had condemned Jesus to death. For a time, both men had lived as secret followers of Jesus, afraid to make a public profession of faith because of their prominent positions in the Jewish community. Similarly, both were deeply affected by Jesus' death. They boldly came out of hiding, risking their reputations and their lives because they had come to realize that Jesus was indeed the long-awaited Messiah. Together, they cared for Jesus' body and prepared it for burial. Many people associate Black Saturday as the day when God did nothing because God is dead. Today is mostly a day of silence, sitting and waiting in the wake of the in-between. That's how it is the morning after the burial. Thinking about what was, unsure of what will be moving forward. But far from doing nothing, God is doing a very important mission. Holy Saturday is when Jesus descended into Sheol, a part of hell where all of the Old Testament saints waited for the promised Messiah to come and rescue them. If you've ever wondered, are the heroes of the Old Testament in heaven, despite never having Jesus to save them from their sins, the answer is Black Saturday. Even in death, Jesus was at work. Death did not stop the message and the mission of Jesus' redemption. On the contrary, death unleashes the final act of Jesus' redemption. Jesus destroying death, not just for himself, but for all of humanity. Following his death for sin, then Jesus journeys to Sheol, to the city of death, and rips its gates off the hinges. He liberates Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, John the Baptist, and the rest of the Old Testament faithful, ransoming them from the power of sin and death. Black Saturday illustrates that even when we can't see it, he's working, redeeming, pulling all things together for those that love and trust him. It's Saturday, and things are changing The sands of time are shifting. And one day, it'll be Sunday.